Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to section 3.2. Make sure you include your homework score from the previous night. Here's our goal today. We're going to be identifying linear equations and graphing them using a table. So what do you remember about linear equations? What do they look like? I've got a cute little comic here. It says, graphing is where we draw the line. There are kids that are protesting because they don't want to graph, because graphing includes drawing a line. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, so we're looking at linear equations, which means they look like a line. Now, linear equations have two variables, and they can be written in what we call standard form, and that looks like this, where A, B, and C are numbers, and you have the variables x and y. That's the way the equation looks. The way the graph of a linear equation looks is a straight line. So those are two things to keep very conscious. All right. So let's look at a couple equations. The first equation, letter A, y squared equals x plus 1, is not a linear equation because the y is squared. Linear equations do not have exponents. Letter B, y equals 7, is a linear equation because I could write it in ax plus by equals c. Notice that we just put in a 0x. That doesn't change anything, and we still have the y equals 7 as we do over here. So that is a linear equation. Letter C, 1/2 x minus 3.4y equals 1. This is a linear equation because it's ax plus by, even though it's subtraction, we could keep change there, make it plus a negative, equals c, equals 1. Okay, so those are three examples of linear and nonlinear equations. Why don't we look at a few examples ourselves and try to determine? You should pause the video and try it on your own. Number 1, if I can write it in ax plus by equals c, then it is linear. So I'm going to try to do that. If I add 3x to both sides, I get y plus 3x equals 4. And then using the commutative property, I can switch those around. 3x plus y equals 4. That is ax plus by equals c. So it's linear. Number 2, 6x minus xy equals 4. So I've got ax, but I don't have a b. Is there a way I could separate those or combine like terms? No. This xy here, two variables being multiplied together, is a problem. So this is not linear. We cannot write it as ax plus by equals c. All right, number 3. Let's see if we can simplify this one. That fraction makes me angry, so I'm going to make that fraction disappear. And I'm going to do that by multiplying by the reciprocal. I'm going to multiply by 3. So that gives me y equals negative 3. Now if you recall, to make it ax plus by equals 0 equals c, I can do 0x plus y equals negative 3. That's ax plus by equals c. It's linear. Try number 4. Y equals x squared minus 4. Well, I hope you noticed there's an exponent. Therefore, it is not linear. Now, sometimes you can tell really quickly, and other times you need to do a little bit of thinking and show a little bit of work. All right, so let's move on to the second part, which is graphing. In order to graph an equation that has two variables. We need to find three ordered pair solutions by choosing a value for one of the variables, either x or y, then solving for the other variable. Okay, so we plot those solution points and draw the line containing the 3 points. So three ordered pairs. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Graph the linear equation, negative 2x plus 4y equals 8. Find three ordered pair solutions. So I'm going to make a little table here. The easiest thing to do is to start with 0. 0 is so easy to solve with. So let's let x equal 0. So I plug in negative 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 8. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, so it just kind of disappears. 4y equals 8. Divide both sides by 4. Y equals 2. So I've got my first solution, 0, 2. Another really easy one to do is to let y equal 0. So instead of y, we plug in a 0. Negative 2x plus 4 times 0 equals 8. That just kind of disappears because 4 times 0 is 0. It gives me negative 2x equals 8. Divide both sides by a negative 2. And x equals negative 4. I've got my second solution, negative 4, 0. Now, remember I have to find three ordered pair solutions, so I need one more. You can do whatever you want. The number 1 sounds fun to me. I'm going to try x is 1. So that's negative 2 times 1 plus 4y equals 8. That gives me negative 2 plus 4y equals 8. Add 2 to both sides. That gives me 4y equals 10. Ew, it's a fraction. But we can graph fractions, no problem. That simplifies to 5/2, or you could write that as the decimal, 2.5. So I am graphing 0, 2, 0, 2, negative 4, 0, and 1, 2.5. Notice, if the dots do not connect to make a straight line, that you must have a mistake. So, in this case, we know that since the lines are connecting, or the dots are connecting, we should be okay. We have not made any mistakes. Let's try another example. Graph the linear equation y equals 3/4 x plus 3. Since this equation is solved for y, we should choose values for x. That way we don't have to do backwards for PEMDAS and all that. To avoid fractions, we should select values of x that are multiples of 4, the denominator. That'll just make the fractions disappear. So I'm going to make a big old table here. We're going to pick multiples of 4. And we're going to solve. So 3/4 times negative 4 plus 3. 3/4 times 0 plus 3. And 3/4 times 4 plus 3. That gives me the ordered pair, or the solution, negative 4, 3/4 times negative 4 is negative 3 plus 3 is 0. 3/4 times 0, that's 0, 3. 3 plus 3, that's 4, 6. And all I have to do is graph it. Negative 4, 0, 0, 3, and 4, 6. They connect to make a line, so I'm happy that I haven't made a mistake. Try another one. Graph the linear equation y equals 3. Okay, so it's solved for y, so that means I need to pick some x values. Negative 2, 0, and 2. How's that sound? They're just pretty numbers, easy numbers. So the equation says y equals 3. So no matter what the x is, the y is 3. No matter what the x is, the y is 3. So let's graph that. -2, 3, 0, 3, 2, 3. Makes a horizontal line. I want to teach you a little trick. It's a saying called oi vux. If you have an equation that says y equals, it will make a horizontal line. If you have an equation that says x equals, it will make a vertical line. And we'll talk more about the O and the U later on. But that's how I remember it. Oi vux. If I have a y equals, I'm going to have a horizontal line. So self-evaluate. Are you an A person, a B person, or a C person? Write at the top of your notes how you're feeling, and then either come sit in the live group, come stand behind the live group, or start your practice. Practice is chapter 3-2, My Math Lab. Remember, always show your work.